do this little demonstration on using a soldering iron. Right, so I have a little robin here that we can cut out. So he has been stitched with cotton threads, not polyester. It has to be cotton because the polyester will melt, and you don't want that after you've done all that lovely work. Okay, so that's the first thing to always remember. If you're going to use a soldering iron, always use a natural thread. Okay, so I wait for my soldering iron to heat up. I also have a jar which has some lovely fine wire wool in it, and that helps to clean the tip of my soldering iron, because when you're melting sometimes you get some nice gunk on the soldering iron as well, so you need to get that off, otherwise you just transmit it onto your work and you'll be left with some nice black gunky bits on it, and you don't want that. So what I do is I just put it in the jar, give it a little bit of a welly, as I say, and then I know that my tip is clean. So the next thing you'll notice is that we have a guard here. So because it gets really hot, again, we need to have that guard, and it obviously slides up and down, so you can have it away from the heat because it gets quite hot there. So, and then what you need to do is you need to hold it upright, not like a pencil or a knife. You need to hold it upright, and then you put it right next to the edge of your stitching, and then you just carefully just go along. And actually, before I go any further, I must also stress that you need to have a tiled surface or glass, anything where obviously it doesn't burn and it hasn't got ridges on it, because that's such a pain because you're trying to cut it and you'll keep hitting ridges. So you want a nice flat surface that doesn't burn. Okay, so I'm not forcing this at all, I'm just moving it gently, and it is doing all the work for me. So I'll just continue to cut this out, and you can see, you know, I'm going at a relative pace here, and you know, it's not too hard. And the thing I love about cutting with a soldering iron is you do get a nice finished effect, and it also melts the stitches to the synthetic fabric, so therefore the stitches shouldn't come undone at all. The little bit sometimes can be a bit tricky, but if you just go carefully, they will be okay. The idea is not to drag the fabric, because then you're left with some nasty bumpy bits, which I will show you how we can get rid of those as well in a moment. So I've nearly finished this bit here. I just put my soldering iron back in my pot and just pull that away. So now I've cut that out. Now there are a couple of raggedy bits, so all I do is, I mean, they're not very raggedy at all, but all I do is, just to make sure it's all nice and neat and tidy, I just use the side of the soldering iron and just go all the way around it like this. And if there are any bits, I can hopefully melt those away. If there are some bits that are a bit too big, they'll just leave a clump. So what you need to do is get your scissors, a nice fine pair of sharp scissors, and just cut the excess lump away, and then you can melt the rest. It just won't leave a nasty gluey lump there, which is, we don't want that. So I'm just going to go all the way around, and I think my bird is looking quite fine. And the other thing I would then do is probably get a felt tip pen or a Sharpie, anything like that, and I just then go around the edge of it, and that then hides, you can see that hides the white edging. It just makes it all even tidier, I think. So that's how I use my soldering iron. Soldering irons are also great for mark making, and I've got a bit of Vilene here. This is a bit of my craft Vilene, and you know, if I just literally go like that, you can see I'm making some lovely drops, whichever way you want them. You know, you don't leave it on very long, so then you're not harming too much of the fabric, and you can stitch on it afterwards. You can also do, you know, you can make really big splodges if you like, or you can just do small splodges. You can just go like that. I love doing this, especially when I'm doing something oldie worldy as well. Okay, and you could even, you know, just let the tip just stay a little bit longer than you would normally, and you can get some lovely marks going on, like shooting stars. Of course, another one is making my nice wavy edges, which I do quite a lot of in my work. I like to do these edges, so you can see, but you can do this on other bits of fabric and it will look completely different. It's just obviously I've got this to hand, so those are some mark making bits as well, which you could put into your work too. So I hope you give it a go. Yeah, it's a godsend, this tool is.